know that phrase, escape the matrix, which Andrew Tate made famous a few years back? No one says it anymore because everything became a bit cringy. But when you say escape the matrix, everyone essentially knows what you're talking about. You know, escape the system, escape the rat race, escape the 9 to 5. Essentially, escape the system was that was put there before you were born, that the majority of people can't even feel that it's there, because it's the same as like a lion being born in the zoo. The majority of lions born in the zoo don't realize that this isn't where you're supposed to be. You know, this isn't the way your life's supposed to be. This isn't natural for you. And you know, some lions internally might feel like this don't feel right, and might crave the wild, even though they don't realize what they're craving. They're craving the life that they're supposed to be living. That's why the people that want to escape the matrix, you know, they get so frustrated that no one else sees it. You got to understand that you're the minority and you're the weird one. But other than that, Andrew Tate made that phrase famous, but he kind of misstepped on what escaping the matrix is. And, you know, escaping the matrix isn't making a bunch of money and buying a Lamborghini. You're doing that. You're still very much in the matrix. All you've done is just you've gone to a different level. So, you know, you get rich and then you buy a Lamborghini, you buy a Ferrari, you buy a mansion, you got multiple women or whatever it is. So now you gotta work even harder and maintain this new lifestyle that you've created, and you're still participating. You know, you do need money to escape, but escaping is making the money and then refusing to participate in whatever they're trying to sell you. You know what I mean? Buying a Lamborghini or buying a Ferrari, you've decided to stay in the matrix. You've decided to consume what they're feeding you, right? Obviously, not everyone can buy a Lamborghini, but the people that can afford the Lamborghini, trust me, they're gonna buy one because they're being conditioned to buy one, right? Where the people that really escaped and understand, right, this is a system, it's placed there, so let me take advantage of this system. So, right, I need to make this amount of money. The only way to make this amount of money is to try and create income outside of the system they created, as far as the 9 to 5 and this, that, and other. And then once I've made enough money, I'll bring my lifestyle down and minimalize it. People that escape the matrix have the money in the bank, but essentially, you know, they got a little bit of land and they got some chickens running around, and you know, they're with their wife and their kids, and that's it. They're refusing to participate. They don't buy a Lamborghini and drive straight through the cities and straight through the matrix. You know, they've escaped, and on the other end of that, it's having nothing and refusing to participate altogether. That's why the people in the middle get fucked. The people in the middle are the ones deep in the matrix that essentially will never get out. So, quick story. I was in an area, I was in a different area a few months back, and I used the supermarket. I went in the supermarket, and behind the counter, there was a bunch of pictures, essentially, of people that have stole from the supermarket. You know, CCTV, still pictures. I looked at the pictures, I was like, you can tell that these people are homeless, right? You're never gonna catch these people. So why even put the picture up? They're homeless. And it made me think, like, they're the ones there. Are they homeless or are they home free? Because they're not playing by the rules that we're playing by. They've escaped. They don't walk around with ID on them. They don't have an address. They don't drive. And their address isn't attached to their license plate that any police officer can just type in and get all your details, your name, date of birth, your address, and all this shit. They're not participating. You can't catch these people. They're not participating in the matrix. The reason they're not, that could have just been circumstances, drugs, alcohol, whatever. Some of them may have decided just not to. But essentially, no one wants that life. But that's what it is. That's what escaping looks like. So if you don't want to escape in that way, you got to escape in the other way, where you've got to make as much money as possible to the point where you don't have to participate. They can't make the money, so they've decided just to not participate anyway, right? Are they homeless or are they home free? Everyone in the middle, fucked. Everyone in the middle has got to worry about taxes. Everyone in the middle has got to follow politics. Everyone in the middle has got to struggle to pay their bills. They care about the electric bill going up. They care about all these things that just keep you there, right? That's in the middle. They're the ones that are going to get caught by the police. They're the ones that are going to get pulled over. They're the ones that are going to get stopped in the street by the police. I'd get stopped in the street by the police way more than the people that stole from that shop. Because the people that stole from that shop, the police know it's a waste. Why am I going to stop this guy? Look at him. He's not going to have no ID. He's got no address. He's probably sitting there in a sleeping bag. Look, someone who's sitting there on a sleeping bag on the street isn't going to get stopped by the police, opposed to someone in the middle who follows the rules, who works, who pays taxes, who pays his bills, pays council tax, all this other shit, right? They're the ones that suffer. They're the ones that are affected by politics. They're the ones that are affected by the healthcare system. They're the ones that are participating in the matrix. And you got to understand that before you can even think about escaping. And be honest with yourself, do you really want to escape, or do you just want to maintain and be in the matrix, but just on a higher level with the Lamborghini and the money, but still participate and still consume whatever they're selling? So I just wanted to touch on that. So escaping the matrix, yeah, it's still a thing. It's a bit cringy to say and all that sort of stuff, but it's real. But the person who told you what it was hasn't escaped. Andrew Tate escaped the matrix. You're joking, ain't you? Like, as soon as you become rich and famous, you're deep in it, because there's no going back after that. So the legal troubles that he's having, the average person would never have those type of legal troubles, because of the amount of influence he's had. The system will have to make an example out of this guy to keep everyone in line. Stop trying to escape. Stop trying to become more, because we'll punish you for it. Or you can become more and about it, and don't flaunt it online and create enemies. Just something to think about. Peace.